So this is the Korpikalli Hunter from Hera Models. Over the weekend, I did a private coaching session using this guy. So we painted quite a bit of it in 2 days. See his face, but I want to finish it, so I figured we could work on it a little tonight. So you can see where he's at. I've been working on the wolf pelt. Go away, stain. Yeah, been working on the wolf pelt. I've got a few more details to do, like the little leather straps on him, the skulls, and finish the pelt. And then I have his spear. So I've got to do his spear. He's holding his spear like this. It goes like that. Hang on, hold on. It goes like this. So he's holding his spear. And then I have to paint the base, which is not primed yet, because I want to finish some, or like integrate it with the plinth, and I haven't done that. But you can see there's his base, and there's a little troll head that he holds on to. He holds it like, which way does it go? It goes like this. So he holds a little. He holds a troll. So I've got to work on the base a little bit, but yeah. If you're not familiar with this model, it's from Hera Models. It's the Korpikalli Hunter from Trudvang. And yeah. So, anyways, so let's work on the base, or work on the pelt a little bit more. Evening, everyone. Hi, Sean. Hi, Rui. Gary. Hi, everyone. Miguel. Get my hair off of the palette. So, we're going to grab a little bit of gray. So I've been working on the pelt, and you can see there's kind of like this black to brown gray transition in the center. Up here you can see on the wolf head that there's this little bit more bluish gray. That works well to create the like highlights of the black part of the pelt, because wolves have very interesting patterning on their pelts. They have like a kind of black stripe that goes down the center. So we are going to create some lights, some lighter furs. Thanks, Forrest. Thanks for the Prime. Did you guys know that if you have a Amazon Prime account, you can give out a free sub? There, I'm using my, that's the extent of my streamer promotional skills. Jeff Bezos hates this one simple trick. Alright, so you can see I'm just doing these little thin brush strokes I'm trying to focus on kind of where the light is falling, just using the shape that the fur is kind of growing in to create these lighter hairs inside the black sections of the pelt. And that's going to give us a bit of texture while still having like the darker sections of the fur. I know it looks quite bluish with the like kind of tan yellowish hairs next to it, but I promise you that this is not that blue. It's just the fact that the model has a lot of brown, these orangish colors, makes it these neutral grays look way more blue than they actually are. So I'm just trying to emphasize the tufts here a little bit. How's everyone doing, by the way? Good? Good, I hope. Working on some things, staying cool. It's a good time to stay inside and paint models. That is the idea, Mia. It's going to be very like mossy forest vibe. That is the kind of typical Trudvang setting. All right, so you can see there I did a little bit of a grayish blue. But I can also take some of them and have them like cross into these other sections to create these sort of stray hair effects. Wolf pelts are not what are like, they're not exactly just like the same color all the way across. And then down here on the tail, I'm going to create a few little hairs just to create some shape and texture to the black section of the tail. Right. Just trying to create the impression of texture. Yeah. Naylan, hello. Welcome, welcome. Okay, and then back here on the back of the wolf head, so you gotta make sure you're tracing really thin lines when doing this. Just trying to follow the shapes. Don't want to do too much contrast, just enough to create the texture, because we still want this to look like a dark section. And then we can have a few of these gray hairs go over into these other guys. Okay, something like that. Then we can take a little bit of this light gray blue, mix the two together to get something just a little lighter. Not too much. You can see it's still pretty neutral gray. But it's going to look quite bright on this, on the back of his body here. Okay, and we're just going to create a few of these. To further define these tufts. And these are good to like cross over into the other area because it helps sort of join the shapes together. Create some more randomness to the pelt. Hello, hi Jonas. Okay, so I'm trying to, as I go further down, trying to be more sparse with these. So it creates that real kind of chaotic, patchy look that they tend to have. Like salt and pepper. Okay, so the middle of the hairs are still darker, and then we can push it a little bit more in some of these lighter areas and create some bright hairs. But this is still the shadow side, right? Like this side's the light side. So you can see that the hair is brighter on this side than on this side. How many hours? Man, it's up there at this point. I would say there's probably, Ian and I worked on them over the weekend. We did like 2 10 to 12 hour days. So that's what, like 20, 22 hours, I would say. And then which was not, I mean, I was teaching, so to be fair, like I was instructing a lot also. So I would say realistically, I have about 30 hours into this model. Which is pretty normal for me on a model this size. They tend to take about 40 hours. Okay, so notice here that like the paws are darker. Yeah. You can see that like the cloak comes over and around and they get darker towards the paws. That is intentional. In fact, this one I'm going to darken even further by just applying like a glaze of black over top of it to start a little darker, because I'm going to go like slightly more brown on the paws. So it's like it gets lighter as it goes over the wolf's arms and legs. They have like a bit brighter fur. And then it gets a little darker towards the paw. Okay, something like that. So you see it kind of transitioning downwards. We just do that with texture instead of, trying to blend it like traditionally blend it. Just create it through brush strokes and texture. All right, so I have smoke, which is like a sepia tone. I have my drink. Yummy. And then I have my gray brown somewhere. Good old Pisarski ground brown. Okay, so a little black, a little ground brown, a little smoke. Create a nice dark grayish brown. And what we want to do now is begin to create some fur on the little paws. I will zoom for you guys so you can see some of the texture better. right? It's quite dark, but as we're just trying to establish the volume, that it's lighter up at the top. Okay, something like that. See, create the little lines. Okay, you can see the paw. So I can be kind of subtle here. Meko 1515, hello, welcome. Thanks for following. Continue to build this texture, build the interest. Right, lots of little detail, lots of information. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the gray and just mix more smoke into it. You get this kind of khaki tan color. That wasn't even a good one, Richard. Come on. You could do better. Okay, you see? I'm focusing the light at the top and then bringing it around in little brush strokes to create the volume without actually, like doing any blending. I'm just layering with the hairs to create the form. Actually, Heard you were going to come and win everything at Nova. That's what you said, right? Better get to work, dude. Buonasera. The shadows on his arm and chest. Thank you. There's a little on his legs also. It's Hera, not Hera. Hair. Hey, you should be making hair puns. Like all this wolf hair I'm painting right now. Good evening. All right, so this stuff is in the shadow, right? These are all shadowy parts. But this one's not. This is like directly in the light. So we got to push this more. Okay? So we got to bring a little more light into this area. Okay, hit them with a little bit of light just to define this edge, you know. We might have to push it just a little bit more, and then kind of do a wash over top of it. Just to stain it so that it... But I don't mind that either. That looks okay. Maybe we'll make it a little more brownish. See, so we get that nice darker tone, and then I want to highlight the hair a little bit here. Just where it comes into the cuff. Buenas noches. ¿Qué tal, Danny? Yep, something like that. Kojak. Hello, welcome. So we could thin the smoke out, because the smoke is basically like a brown ink. It's like a sepia ink. We can use that to just tint the fur a little more brown around the feet. I say feet, the paws and the ankles sections of the pelt. We'll just give Richard a 10-minute timeout. Till he gets his act together. His comedy act together. Well, playing a little game to unwind or how are you? I'm good. Estoy bien. ¿Qué estás jugando? Elden Ring? Skis, hello, and Tours, hello, welcome. Phasmophobia? I don't know what that is. Is it a horror game? I assume with a name like Phasmophobia, it would be something about ghosts. Okay, so something like that. I'm gonna grab a little ivory. Okay, it is a ghost hunter. Okay. Like ones in those TV series. So nothing ever actually happens? You never see any actual ghosts, is what you're telling me? All right. So just a little bit extra light. Thanks, man. So I'm gonna sit here and complain for a second. Where's the artwork? So I have the card somewhere. Oh, here it is. All right, I'm gonna get on Brom or on Daniel's ROM for a second. Daniel, if you watch this, wolves don't have white claws. They have black claws. That's it. Just me picking on you. Wolves have black. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint them with the same kind of grayish tone and just make them look kind of shiny. Want them to look a bit round. So we're going to use some of the gray, focusing on where the reflection would be. We can use sort of the light from the camera to see that. Actually, if you guys don't know who Daniel's ROM is, he does quite a lot of work for Cool Mini or Not. He's a fantastic painter. The dwarf that Albert did for World Model Expo is also based on an illustration by Daniel. You should check out his Instagram. he does some work for Cool Mini or Not. He's done some Magic the Gathering. I'm just teasing him a little bit for not checking his references on claws, wolf claws. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put a little shine on them. Okay, so, all right, that's basically the fur cloak done. I've got to do these rings and the more talons, I guess. Maybe they're teeth. I don't know what, because they're not in the illustration. I don't know what Alex was intending them to be. They look more like claws, but they're pretty big for a wolf, so we will decide. I might just do them tan to make them stand out a little more. They could be bear claws or something else. Some sort of trophy that he took. Okay. So we have pretty much what we need here to do the skulls. Need something slightly more beige, but not too much. I want the skulls to be white, so I'm going to grab just a little bit of the beige. And I need something slightly greenish. I was using this before. Dirty gray. Mr. Marco How are you? Mr. Frazzoni. So we can mix up this sort of dirty khaki color. Hi, Ian. Yes, it does look familiar, doesn't it? It's had a little more work done to it. How much have you done on yours? That's all right. See you later, Danny. Hey, Raiders. I'll give you guys a second in case you're behind an ad or whatever. But welcome. Hi, Spicy Noob Sauce. I'll wait for the message. The hello from Marco. Speaking of Marco, tomorrow, hi, the Bug King. I don't know if, I'm sure Marco probably told you guys about it, but tomorrow ticket sales go live for the Las Vegas Open workshops, which Marco and I are both teaching one, the master classes. So, myself, Marco, Tim Marsh from Journeyman Miniatures, and Matt DiPietro are teaching the master classes at the Las Vegas Open in July. Ticket sales go on sale, I believe, tomorrow. So if you, or no, today's Wednesday, they go on sale Friday. So if you're watching this on YouTube, they go on sale on Friday. They're under new management too, Verko's Vault is now doing all of the scheduling of classes and painting competition at the at LVO now. New management. Hi, Lucas. So, if you're interested in learning from Marco or I, you can check those out. I'll probably put a link in the video description, or you can be on the Discord to get a link or whatever. Sleepy Shaman and Crispy Bangs. Welcome, welcome. All right. So you can see the skull, right? I'm going with this, dude, it is ever so slightly more greenish color than the cloak is like slightly more brown. They're both very desaturated gray, but it does help create a bit of a differentiation when dealing with all of these grays and browns and things to just like alter the coloration a little bit. Right now I'm using one that I've used quite a bit, Artis Opus Series S size 3. This is my favorite general purpose brush. You can see how much I've used it because here's a newer size 5. It's a little bit of discoloration on it. Well, Robo Warrior X, if you want to see another fur pelt from like start to finish, you could check out the Spira orc bust I did. It's on YouTube. You can see the whole process on there. It has, it really comes down to just like understanding the technique of painting little tiny brush strokes. Thin little lines. So, see, now you can see there's like a difference in the skull. All right, so the light is coming in from this way, so we have to, you can see that the light is coming in like this. So it's casting a shadow across his forehead. Now, you got to remember that, like, really, it's like the light is further away, so light travels in more straight lines. See you, Margot. Thanks for a raid. Have a good night. But oh, that looks bad. So, all right, so we're gonna come across. Well, most of the it's almost like we're lighting the skulls like this, right? But they're being lit this way. So like they're hanging because it's coming from over his shoulder. So we have to treat the lighting direction a little more. Like the skulls are going, the light's coming like straight down on the skulls. And I'm not really too worried about the leather straps at the moment because I've got to repaint them anyways. So if I get some paint on them, you know, that's fine. Things happen. Okay. Who's that? Toady Odie? Hello? Welcome, welcome. All right. We will define some of the shape of the nose. Get some small amount in here. Now this is kind of rough right now, but what we'll do is we're going to come back in and create an intermediate between these two. I'm just trying to rough in the shape. Okay. So something like that. We get kind of effect. See the rough volumes. I can paint the teeth separately. Or I can just throw a little on there. Because I've got to get all cleaned up anyways. It's a lot of little details. We can mix these two, create a intermediate kind of color. What was Marco working on, by the way? He ran to bed. What was he painting? Was it cool? Cheetah Man from Big Child. Do I know a cool Cheetah Man? Oh, the bust. The very like Central American kind of. It's not a cheetah though, is he? He's like a jaguar or something, isn't he? I think he's a jaguar. Cheetahs are African. Yeah, it's like a leopard, which a leopard is. I believe a leopard is a jaguar. I think it's a sub-species. Because I think a panther is also technically a jaguar. I know you guys came in here to get nerdy about big cats, right? I'll never forget, I was riding we were at Maltese Sansevino, and Alfonso got into a stint about he could win in a fight, like barehanded against a cheetah. And we were all just like, no, dude, no, you couldn't. You would die. You would 100% get murdered by a big cat. Would just like rip your throat out. I don't know why dudes always think that they can like take on some wild animal that's just gonna rip your face off. I'll give you my honest answer to that, Sebastian. Like, barely any. £1,800? I don't know, dude. I think that's 5 times stronger than the average punch force of a human. I'm pretty sure some boxers can hit. I think there's a couple that can hit over 1,000. But could you imagine if a polar bear worked out? Go full Joe Rogan. Dude, what if a gorilla learned to bench press? YP's on. Hello. Welcome. A professional boxer also wouldn't stand a chance. Have you seen the videos of like bears actually fighting each other? And they've got like that super thick hide. It's terrifying. And they're also insanely fast. A house cat runs faster than Usain Bolt. A bear runs way faster. Turns out running on 4 legs is just in general a lot quicker than running on 2. That's pretty good. Jamie, pull up that video, would you? Dude, moose are crazy. They're so gigantic. I remember seeing this video of while we're painting wolf skulls. Saw a video of a pack of wolves trying to bring down a moose, and that moose is just like stomping on them and running away. It's not the big animals in Australia that are going to get you. It's the little ones. It's all the snakes and the bugs and the spiders. Instead of mauling you, they just poison you. So you can see that that's actually the orbital bone, like, or the eye socket, the bone behind the eye. That's actually in there, and based on the lighting direction, we actually do want to put a little highlight inside the eye socket. Oh, a crocodile. That's another animal I definitely would not mess with. Yeah, I think I'd be a little more concerned about the African animals like Cape buffalo, hippopotamus, rhinoceros. You know, things that will absolutely destroy you. Cape buffalo are crazy also. All right, so that's kind of one skull done-ish. I'd probably go back and refine it a little bit, but you can sort of see the shape and everything. Gives you an idea of like what I mean when I want to like vary not just the color, right? Because the color of the fur, but like the overall brightness of the skull, you know, to make it stand out a little more. The videos of elephants like getting drunk and just destroying villages. Oh, what happened here? This drunk elephant came through. If I could add an animal to the list of creatures domesticated by humans, what would you pick? I mean, we already domesticated wolves. That's what dogs are. Are they going to change? Like, do they get, or do I just get like an exact version of the animal we have now, but a domesticated version? Or do I get like the nicer version, like the difference between a boar and a pig? Benedetto, hello, welcome. All right, so if I get a cuter, nicer looking version of an animal, what would I have? Hmm. Let's see. Let's see. We already have cats and dogs. We have quite a lot of. We have domesticated pretty much every type of farm animal. I mean, would a cute version of a crocodile just be like a bearded dragon or something, like some kind of smaller lizard? I guess I'm curious what a domesticated like miniature elephant would look like. Or bear. Would a cute bear just be like a small like panda or something? That's what a, like if we selectively bred tiny cute bears. It's a raccoon. Oh, I'd tell you, like a tegu, dude, you know? Like, they're pretty cool. If you don't know what a tegu is, they're a big lizard that acts like a dog. They're very funny. And as far as having an exact version of a wild animal, I guess a hippo. That would be funny. That would be cool. Just riding around on a hippo. Yeah, just a horse-sized elephant. The videos of baby elephants is hilarious. They're like flipping their trunks all around. You'd have to feed a hippo so much. How much food does a hippo eat in a day? Like the videos of them just crushing pumpkins. You gotta own a pumpkin patch to keep your hippopotamus fed. Johnny Darko, hello. 90 pounds of food a day. Good Lord. In this economy? Pfft. I'm not owning a hippopotamus. I'm exactly 0% likely to be killed by either an elephant or a shark. Actually, I guess there's a tiny, insignificant percent chance that an elephant could escape the local zoo and somehow come get me. But there's a 0% chance that a shark is getting me on the street. All right. I will be right back. I'm going to take a quick break for a minute and then come back and work on this guy a little more. All right, I'm back. I figured also while I'm here, maybe you guys would like to see the 2 scouts that I finished recently in 3D in video format. So we got the Bolter Man, the Tome Keeper, zoom. Look at the stippling on his head. I think his skin might be slightly off on his arms. Something maybe need fixing. It's actually more noticeable on video than it is in hand. So maybe I need to lighten the skin on his front arm just a tiny bit. But so that's that guy. And then this guy, the sniper. So this is, you guys got to see me working on him last week doing the camo cloak and whatnot, but he's all done. Got his cool raptor shoulder pad. So they're both finished up. 3 more to go. Look at the size difference between this guy and this guy. There's a little difference. They're subtly, scale's just slightly off, you know? I think sometimes people don't realize how small or how big some of these figures are. So maybe this gives you an idea of how large this figure is, because he is not a 75 millimeter. He is he's a 90. Sharkwald, thanks for the prime, man. Appreciate it. He is a 90 millimeter. All right, where did the brown go? I don't even know why I'm doing that. I wanted to like paint something other than the skull, but I should just keep working on the skulls. Oh yeah, man, a true 28 millimeter scale. That's tiny. Well, what's it called aren't even 28s. They're 32. Because if you want to see, I mean, like an Imperial Guardsman is definitely significantly smaller than a Space Marine. Well, I appreciate it. Maybe I should just do the Patreon thing of like, if you like the content, the YouTube content, do the Patreon or whatever. My problem with I've never wanted to do a Patreon because I don't want to feel obligated to like release content on the Patreon. I know a few people have asked like, hey, do you have one? I'm like, nope. For that specific reason that I don't want to, because I travel a lot to teach. I don't want to have things like ready to release every week while I'm gone. Speaking of being gone, not next week, but the week after, I will be in sweltering hot Las Vegas. Good Lord. The temperatures in Las Vegas this past week have been crazy. Anybody from Vegas or Arizona or anything enjoying those 120 to 130 degree temperatures? But I will be in Las Vegas in 2 weeks to teach at Verco's Vault. And should be fun, but it is going to be crazy hot. So I am very happy to just stay inside all day and paint while I'm there. Not that I do anything different while I'm here. Well, we've been enjoying 96 degree weather with 70% humidity. Ooh, 117. Wow. But it's a dry heat. Dude, I don't care what kind of heat it is. It's 117 degrees. Hotter than a hot tub. You guys are out of your mind. Anyone who lives in Arizona, I ask, why? Just why? Good evening. I saw a Reddit post of a guy that like lives in Phoenix and his mini blinds melted. Whore loving. Hello, thank you. Welcome. Yeah, I don't get it, man. So for 5 months of the year, you're like, hey, the weather's pretty nice. Hey, for like, you know, 8 months out of the year, the weather here is also pretty nice. Thanks, Kinoshka. Appreciate it. We're having fun. We're having a good time with this model. There's a couple of parts that I think I want to push the lights, maybe like a tiny bit on the wolf, but I don't know. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I feel like there's just a few spots that the fur feels like a little dark, but I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Gone Beyond One. Hello. Well, welcome. Sorry you couldn't play your D&D tonight, but thanks for hanging out with me instead. Jaskolek. Hi, welcome. Just working on this little man. This not so little man. He's quite big. What do you guys think of this scale, huh? You a fan of like bigger models like this? 90 millimeter like this feels great to me. I gotta say I'm a pretty big fan of this larger size. It's just like a little bit bigger than a 75. Let me see if I can I'll grab a 75 in a second to show you the scale difference. Kanoshka, thanks for the 100 bits. Appreciate it. I mean, really the scale difference is not all that much. Just get like it's just slightly larger. Let me see. 70, a proper 75. Here we go. Now remember, he's sitting up straight or standing up straight. Perhaps you remember this guy. Like, so he's standing up. He's like slouching over and he's standing up. But you can see like the size difference in the head of a 90 millimeter and a 75. So proportions are just bigger on a 90. I've painted some 75s recently that I'm like, oof, this feels small. Satirius, thank you, welcome. Yeah, I like it. I think this. I mean, I can't say this is my first, I think, proper 90 millimeter scale model. I've done. No, that's not true because the dwarf with the skeleton was a 90. The other Trudvang that I did was a 90. But of a human, this is my first 90. I've done some larger figures like space 75 millimeter space marines that are basically 90 millimeter models, but they're just 8 foot tall humans, so technically it's a 75 millimeter. If we're getting real nitpicky on the scale, Or maybe he's a 75 millimeter and elves and Trudvang are just, 8 feet tall. Who knows? I'm sure someone knows. I am not an expert on the scale of Trudvang. I know some of the dwarves in Trudvang are pretty big. Alright, that's not so bad. I got some light on the skulls. Probably need to add just a little bit more over on this guy. Has anybody ever played Trudvang? Like the RPG? Isn't it an RPG? I mean, I know they did like the Cool Mini or Not game, but I think it was originally like an tabletop pen and paper RPG setting. It seems like one of those ones that people just generally like the art more than they like the game system or whatever. I was like, people like the Rackham confrontation art. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's played confrontation. I mean, maybe I have. I'm sure people have played it, but I don't ever hear about anyone talking about playing that game, but they sure talk about the artwork and the miniatures. Rackham. All right, do we want to just do... I guess we'll just do these, like, claws. Now, how do they... Looks like they're, like, got little leather straps around them. If you guys could bring back any game system, what would it be? There's been a lot of tabletop games over the years that have lost support. Battlefleet Gothic, Mordheim, Confrontation. What would it be? What would you bring back? Hero Quest? I played Hero Quest for the first time ever at MFCA. I never played it before. Gothic? Yeah, Battlefleet Gothic. Wasn't that game Drop Zone Commander or whatever it was called? Kind of like the spiritual, or like the spiritual successor to Battlefleet Gothic. I know it's not quite the same without, you know, the 40K background, but... Inquisitor. No one played Inquisitor. Don't even lie and say you played Inquisitor. People just bought it for the models. Yeah, oh, that's interesting actually. If it's the local hobby store, not the Games Workshop store. Now, I know the Games Workshop store like gives away a free miniature every month. What was it? What was his little Warhammer figure? Is it a Space Marine? Get him hooked on that plastic crack. That's the good stuff. Actually kind of shocked that they never redid Mordheim, considering they've redone Necromunda, which I assume is sort of the same thing. I'm not an expert on these games, by the way. But I assume that Mordheim is similar to Necromunda. It's got a flamethrower, Wendy. That's what I would guess. The Infernus Marine. Critter cool. All right, what else? What else? So we have to paint the steel ring. I need my glasses for this. They're very tiny. Where'd they go? They're very small. Zoom. Can you guys see that? Need to switch primer. I've been using the Vallejo one, but I think the bottle's dead. That's one of those ones where it's got urethane in it. And I think the urethane can kind of die over time if you don't use it. And I use it a lot, but I feel like it runs out. The chemical kind of dies out. I think I might switch back to using Mr. Surfacer, which I find hilarious that Vince and John did videos about Mr. Surfacer, because I've got 15-year-old bottles sitting over there of Mr. Surfacer that it's very popular in the Gundam painting scene, because it's a lacquer-based primer, and it holds up very well to being scratched and everything, because Gundam modelers want to have paint that's not going to rub off when you move the figure around. But I always find it funny when modelers from other areas, other disciplines of modeling, discover the products that other modelers have been using for 30 years. I was like, look at this thing I found. It's like, yeah, dude, we've known about that. Hi, Scott. Oh, I could probably tell you exactly what primer that is, Wendy. I'll have to ask Ron. But it is a the GW, or not, the Privateer Press Black is like a specific like automotive primer that's been just like rebranded. It is so hot in here. I'm having a hard time. I mean, it's not crazy hot, but it is, paint's drying out pretty fast. I don't like aerosol primer where I live because the humidity is so bad that it is pretty difficult to find good days to like spray. You can get some kind of undesirable effects from aerosol on like really humid days. So I stopped using aerosol based primers. So they're just expensive for like the amount of models that you can spray with a can. Come on, guys, they're bad for the environment. All you people still using aerosol-based spray primers, this heat is your fault. Okay. Alright. Fix those a little bit now that I can see a little better. Dude, this crap. Look at these stitches. That was fun. With no ventilation or anything, right? Just huffing paint in the basement. Oh yeah, he's got him on his boots too. That's why I started using the glasses. I think digital sculpting has also started to make it so people, I mean, you've got guys like Patrick Masson and stuff who can sculpt to an insanely tiny level of detail, but I think now that 3D printing is, you know, digital sculpting and everything has become more of a thing, you start to get some more of those like insane fine details on models now. I don't remember stuff like that on the models I was painting 10 years ago. What brush size am I using? I'm using a 3. It's pretty much the brush I always use. It is my main workhorse. I used a different brush when doing the face, but for certain parts of the face. Thanks, Flying Yukai. Thanks. Appreciate it. Lots of little bitty details. And just a little bit more of the green. Who's that? Andrew James Music. Thank you. Welcome. My judging colleague? You mean Sam? He's my book colleague now. I like seeing him do some different stuff. He's working on that. I think it's Neko Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken. Piece he was working on. Super cool. What Hera bust are you painting? Get some of those little striations and things. Right? You want to get a little... Oni 2... Onyx? That can't be right. Onyx 2.0? What? Now we take just a little bit of the smoke, just a little bit. We're gonna thin it out. We're gonna make it a glaze. We're gonna glaze a little bit of this guy in here. Give it some coloration. A little coloration, a little saturation. Just kind of around the roots. Maybe a little on the tip. Oh, Onyx. Oh, okay. Oni. Yeah. I've painted that guy. He's cool one. It's an interesting face on that figure. So, a little shine on the metal. Pop that little white, that little spark on the silver. All right, not bad. Not bad. We are very nearly done with this part of the body. How do my teeth look? Kind of terrible. So we're gonna take and apply, oh my god, black plus the smoke wash to the teeth of the skulls. Try and get some outlining on them. Hello, Sir Mytho. How are you? Welcome. All right, not bad. I'm gonna use this while I've got this. Kind of shadow the upper eye sockets. You started your first 75mm fantasy figure, and what would that be? Tell me so I can judge your taste in miniatures. Thanks, Sir Mythos. I actually just had a couple of them. Right here, this little guy. Dang it. Pew, pew, pew. Cowgirl Steve. Hi, welcome. Hagbard? Dude, I'm so bad with the names of miniatures. Ah, that guy. That is a good one. Not my favorite of Wookiee sculpts, but it's not bad. It's not I can never remember his name. There's a particular it's the old man barbarian, the one with the hammer, is one of my favorites. Bress, yeah. Yeah, Bress is also one of Joaquin's favorite models. No. No, no. He'd done quite a few hand sculpt because he did the bust that was hand sculpted after that one. He did the 75 millimeter, and then a couple years later he did the bust version of the same character. His last hand sculpts were mostly stuff for Journeyman. He did quite a few. I believe the Howling Pack for Journeyman was like one of his final hand sculpts. And according to him, one of the reasons he no longer does hand sculpts. So thanks, Tim. You destroyed Joaquin. You crushed his spirits. I think he was kind of over it before that, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back, like hand sculpting for 20 years or whatever, and then was like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, this digital thing's pretty convenient. Hey, get out of here. All right, I fixed the teeth. That's better. The two cut, well, it depends. I've done a few that are traditional and a few that are digital. The two Warcraft ones I did, the Thrall and Bane, are both traditional sculpts. They are truly one-off. Mephisto was digital. Most of the customs he does, I think all the customs he basically does now are digital. So we got to come back in and get all this, outline all this leather. Wait, I accidentally got paint on. Which means just being careful. If I did, Richard, do you think I would tell you? Yeah, I do know some. Mm-hmm. That's what you asked, right? If I know some, I do. I'm not answering that. That would be a breach of trust. And in some cases, a breach of NDA. Can you guys keep a secret? Good, so can I. I ain't telling y'all nothing. I ain't telling you nothing until they tell me I can tell you something. That's how this works. Will this model be for sale? Do you mean the figure or the actual model? Like my version? Or is the figure for sale? Because you can buy the figure. The figure from me. It is currently not for sale. I like it and I think I might keep it. But I might entertain an absurd offer on it. Yeah, that's absurd in the wrong direction, Richard. I say absurd offer because I legitimately really like this model. I think it's super cool. One of my favorite sculpts, commercial sculpts in years. You guys are out of control. You think many brands are going to release figures? You're smoking something. Well, they might stop releasing paint lines if you guys stop being little paint goblins and buying every one that makes you think you're gonna, you know, it's gonna up your painting game. It's a hot take. How many paint manufacturers are there? I mean, factory-wise, or are a lot of them made by the same factory and a different label slapped on? I can tell you that some of them, such as, I can tell you multiple paint brands are made by HMG in the UK. Smoke's right there, baby. Oh, Craigsog. No. No, no, no. Don't use Dave Caldwell as an example, because Dave Caldwell is the biggest paint goblin there is. That guy owns every single paint line, I'm pretty sure. He's an absolute hoarder. A hoarder of paints. And the only reason any one of you should have ever killed a single bottle of paint is if you airbrush all the time. Because I think I've killed 2 bottles of paint ever. And one was a black. Vallejo model color black. The other, Vallejo model color ivory. Mufsha, hello, thanks for following. This is why paint brands have to constantly come up with new types of paint, because for a product that is, consumable, the consumption rate on paint is very slow. Shavuto, I paint every single day. Every day. And I do not use up paint that much. And I waste a lot of paint. Because most of this that's sitting on the palette right now will not get used. Turns out the figures we paint are not very big and don't use very much paint, like actual paint on them. Yeah, that makes sense. 4,000 points of salamanders and you airbrush green a lot, like you're gonna go through paint. Airbrushing uses way more paint than hand brushing does. Lean FJ, thank you. Welcome. Thanks for following. See you, Wendy. Made everyone mad by calling them paint goblins. Now they don't want to talk to me anymore. I'm not a paint goblin. Can't fool me with shiny new bottles of paint. Jamie Daggers, hello. See, when you're a professional project starter like me, dude, I don't care. I start more projects and finish more than you start. You should not go through that much pain. The only people who should go through more paint than me are professional army painters. Like people that are doing commission army projects every day. Then I understand if you go through bottles of paint. Or if your name's Alfonso and you put enough paint on your palette to paint a mural. I love him, but that dude goes through some paint. He's like, we need a little red for the skin tone. What do I want? Well, I need to actually highlight these a little more. But I think I'm gonna, we've gone about 3 hours and I'm just painting leather straps. So I think I might call it there for the night. Yeah, we got, you know, some little details and stuff done. A little fur, little skulls, little bones, you know, little rings. But, and we definitely did it all on this stream if you're coming in late. That's a joke. So, I will see you all next week. Are you ready? Oh, I'm going to do it. All right. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. There we go.